Right, welcome ladies and gents. Fantastic Four First Steps, the movie. It's certainly that. It is certainly a movie. It's out. I have watched it. I got up early to go and watch it. It's out in the UK and other parts of the world. At least this weekend anyway. It's going to be wide release. So I'm going to review it for you. Here is as non-spoilers as possible. And then I'll give you fair warning and then we'll talk spoilers. Okay, ladies and gents. So again, this is going to be my review. Non-spoilers first, then spoilers after a fair warning. Hit subscribe if you're new here, or indeed a returning viewer that's not yet subscribed. Let's just dive right into it, right? It's a movie. Yeah, it's certainly a movie. This is perhaps one of the best, most competently shot Marvel movies in quite some time, with what is undeniably one of the most unique, artistic, or at least creative directions that they've had in a long time. They have broken away from the very generic multiverse, the sort of quantum realm, cosmic element, all of that kind of stuff. You remember there was a few years where a lot of the movies, all of those sound stages looked exactly the same, weird, just nonsense floating around, and it all, the quantum realm could have been the galaxy, right? It could all just looked the same. It was just the same. This doesn't suffer from that. The retro sort of 60s futuristic, retro future aesthetic, very well done. That obviously adds a new sheen to the universe, because it is a new universe. It's a different world, different universe. But it's not just that. It's how it is shot. It is shot better, more artistic. It's not an Oscar movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's not handled by an auteur. But it definitely looks better. It looks like an actual director shot it, rather than the board of executives and producers that normally shoot these films. And they normally all just look the bloody same. This did look different, and it was better for it. The score was quite good, all handled, again, fairly well. And I think that's because it's a new universe. So maybe they felt like they could sort of break free from things and sort of handle things a bit differently. I don't know. Who knows? But it felt different. So that's some good stuff. Let's talk about some bad stuff. I am sick to death of Pedro Pascal. I really am sick of that gimp, right? I'm tired of him. He's in everything. It seems to be a weird concerted push by Hollywood. And I'm bored of him. I'm sick of him. All I see when I saw his Reed Richards was Pedro Pascal. I didn't see Reed Richards. And I didn't think he acted any different to what he normally does. I didn't think he was Reed Richards. I just thought he was Pedro Pascal. Whether the movie suffers for that, your mileage may vary, I guess. But I personally am sick to bloody death of him. He's a stupid gimp, and I hate his face. And if I never saw it again, I couldn't care. I'd be overjoyed, quite frankly. But you get my drift, right? Vanessa Kirby, surprisingly, actually did a really good job in this movie. It is her movie, by and large. She takes center stage. She does do some saving, of multiple times. She does save people. She is the sort of linchpin behind some of the team actually succeeding. But her acting was very good. Thought it was pretty decent. Ebon, I know from The Bear, and this just felt like The Bear. It felt like his character from The Bear. But he's good, and I didn't hate him. The CGI for the thing was alright. Pretty good, I guess. Visual effects wise, as a Marvel movie goes, this is probably some of the best visual effects that they've done for some time. But whether that says much, I don't know really anymore. Are people sick of the visual effects? Who knows? Joseph Quinn, the Human Torch, good actor. I actually like Quinn. I think he is a good actor. He sort of rose to fame with respect to Stranger Things. Then he was in that Quiet Place film. I really like him. I actually think he's a good actor. I think he has good range. So there you go. There's sort of character breakdown. Pacing, it was a bit quick, a bit brisk. Very predictable in parts. Very, very predictable in parts. Certain things happen and you go, this is probably going to happen now. And then this thing happens and you're like, oh, okay. Is that because it's a children's film? Maybe. Maybe I'm too old for these things now. Who knows? But it was definitely predictable. Does it mean that children's films have to be predictable? No, actually, it doesn't. But it was predictable by and large. What else? What else? Was it good? This is in non-spoilers. Was it good? Hard to quantify, really. There was a lot riding on this for Marvel. I certainly don't think it's worthwhile shouting about. It did feel, even though it's one of the better Marvel movies, it did feel really paint by numbers. It felt like set up for other things. It felt like just another movie. You know, it's difficult because Marvel has every single Marvel movie has a stigma associated with it that it will set up another Marvel movie. And because they've leaned too far in, I think, to the cinematic universe idea, I think they hurt themselves by doing that. Because when a film feels like an advert for another film, sometimes you're not interested. Sometimes you don't want. Sometimes you just don't. Sometimes you don't want it. You know, sometimes it feels a bit like, am I enjoying this film, or is it merely a consumer product? I mean, obviously they are a consumer product, but they don't have to feel like that at the end of the day. I didn't feel like Iron Man felt like that. I didn't feel like subsequently some of the other movies felt like that. But anyway, there you go. Can I recommend this in non-spoilers? No, not really. It was fine, but that's about it really. Like, it was fine. It wasn't standout. It wasn't epic. It was fine. It suffers from the same shitty Marvel humor where they don't really need it, and it sort of, you know, removes some tension. It alleviates tension from certain scenes where actually certain scenes would be much, much better off having that tension just sit there for a while. They definitely... the chemistry of the actors... The director came out and said, I didn't screen test them. I didn't check their chemistry. And you can tell that. Like, Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby, they don't have any chemistry together. Vanessa Kirby's doing her best, but Pedro Pascal's creepy as fuck, man. Like, you see him in all of these interviews now, and whenever he's on stage, he's touching women all the time. It's like, oh, it's because he's got anxiety. He doesn't have anxiety around men, does he? I don't see him touching men. And I'm just... It just comes across creepy. Whenever I see him touching people now, I'm like, ugh. Mate, gross. Like, actually gross. Like, it feels dirty watching it. So I can't strongly recommend it. Anyway. Julia Garner, fine job as the Silver Surfer shalla-bal. Better than I thought, but... And the visual effects of shalla-bal was much better. They actually did improve it from that first trailer. Which is almost unheard of these days. You know, when the first trailer drops and people are like, don't worry, they will improve the CGI. And 9 times out of 10, they don't. Like, 99.9 times out of 10, they don't. I know it's not out of 10. But you get my drift, right? They just don't. They actually did. Weirdly in this. Which is genuinely odd. Like, it's weird that they did. And Galactus, yeah, it was fine. But kind of one and done. Kind of. There you go, non-spoilers. Bugger off now whilst we talk about spoilers. If you care, I guess. Anyway, lots of exposition in this movie. You've had your spoiler warning. This is your spoiler warning. Lots of exposition. We open with them going on the Ted Gilbert show or whatever it is. Being introduced as the Fantastic Four. We all know them. We all know their story. And then they proceed to tell their story. And you're like, okay, cool. Yeah, got that. Again. But it was interesting because it's like Reed Richards assembled the smartest minds he knew. And it's like, and then Johnny Storm's there. And yet they degrade him, demean him later in the movie as someone who's dumb. So what? What? So is he one of the smartest people you know or not? What is it? Like, what is it? Which one is it, boy? And anyway, they then, you know, we smash cut to them doing some superheroing. We actually don't see much of Reed Richards' stretching ability in this. They don't actually show much of his stretching ability, and I think they've hid that for a reason. Yes, because it's not really that good. It's not really that good. It's not that good. Anyway, Vanessa Kirby, Sue Storm is obviously pregnant. They then get... shalla-bal comes down and warns everyone. And then... Sue Storm's like the leader of the United Nations... Basically, like the future project or whatever. I don't bloody know what it was. But basically, she's the leader of the United Nations in that universe. And she is very much like, it is her movie. I wouldn't say it necessarily suffers for it. But when you are sick to death of, you know, female gynocentric movies, it's just another one where you're just like, oh, God, really? Come on now. Can we have some strong masculine role models in films for people? Just once would be great. You know, they emasculated Johnny Storm. He doesn't like any women until he finds like a sexy silver alien. It's like, this is lame, man. What are you doing? And anyway, shalla-bal comes down, warns everyone, and then they're like, oh, well, we'll track her. So they track her, and then they bugger off to Galactus, and Galactus is like, I want your baby. He has the power cosmic. He can satiate my hunger and free me from this. Sure, fine. They refuse, obviously, and they're like, no, like, we're not going to give you our baby, and we're not going to give you the planet either. They come back, everyone starts to hate them, and then Sue Storm like stops everyone from hating them by saying, we're all a family, actually. And they're like, oh yes, we're all a family, no worries, mate. And then they have this plan to teleport Galactus to the edges of the universe without a ship. Well, actually, initially they have a plan to teleport the planet millions of light years away, so Galactus can't find them. But then Silver Surfer comes down, destroys all of the teleporters, and then they're like, shit, we need another plan. We'll just teleport Galactus then, I guess. There's some like arguments between Sue Storm and Reed Richards. Really kind of superfluous, to be honest. The Thing doesn't really have a love interest, but sort of does. It's that woman from, what is it, Orange is the New Black? But she's only in like 3 scenes. There's only 3 scenes with her. It doesn't really do too much either with that. Maybe they'll explore that in future, but probably not. Because obviously the Fantastic Four have to come into this universe, our universe, 616, whatever. Galactus comes down, has a bit of a walk around, and then they pretty much easily defeat him. Well, no, they don't. Sue Storm easily defeats him, kind of, by sacrificing herself, by trying to use her light powers to push him into the teleporter, the only teleporter that's available now, because shalla-bal destroyed them all. Because she had a change of heart. Oh, no, sorry, she destroyed them all. Sue Storm pushes Galactus into this teleporter. He then... It's about to close, but he starts to come back through. Johnny Storm's about to sacrifice himself, but shalla-bal sacrifices herself instead, because earlier in the movie, Johnny Storm played a whole bunch of messages of people dying, and she had a change of heart from all the planets she you know, heralded Galactus to. Galactus goes to the known edges of the universe, and then boom, they're the Fantastic Five, and Sue Storm dies, but Franklin resurrects her, and it's just all bloody lame. That's kind of it, really. That's kind of the story. I don't really have much else to say. This is bloody 13 minutes of a movie, and I've just wasted like 2 hours of my life on a film I'm probably not going to get back. It wasn't that great, let's put it that way, right? Like, it was fine, and I mean just about fine. It wasn't really anything. Again, aside from it being definitely one of the most creative films that they've made in a while, artistically, it was just another Marvel movie, and they really do suffer these days. I think, I don't know, but I feel like the bubble's kind of bursting. I mean, I know I'm kind of sick to death of them. I don't know about you guys. And ultimately, I am genuinely sick of seeing Pedro Pascal, like, touch people. Like, I really am sick of it. It's disgusting. So, yeah, this might be a personal gripe that I've got, but you watch some of those videos and then watch this movie and he's touching people. Nah, makes you think a bit. He's a bit of a creep, mate. Bit of a creep. So there you go. I don't have much else to say. You probably won't subscribe to this channel based on this review. It's not that great. But if by chance you found it not bad, hit subscribe. Bye now.